And welcome in, y'all, to a live episode of Locked On Bulls. I'm Matt. That's Big Dave. It is Monday night, and we are coming to you live immediately following the Bulls' tight, clenching 111-108 victory over the Toronto Raptors. That's Zach LaVine's first four-game winning streak in the NBA. That is the Bulls' first 4-0 start to a regular season since MJ put up 50 and Rodman had 22 rebounds in 1996. We're breaking it all down right now on a fresh live Locked On Bulls on YouTube. Let's go.
Boom.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Here are your hosts, Matt Peck and Big Dave Watson.
What's up, and welcome into Locked On Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Matt Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. You can follow my co-host Big Dave at BAWL, B-A-W-L Sports. You can follow us at Locked On Bulls. Shoot us a text or leave us a voicemail at 331-979-1369. We're switching things up a little bit. I feel like with the 4-0 start to the season and the nerve-wracking way that game concluded, Big Dave, we had to hop on the mics right now. I couldn't wait. How are you, my friend, after watching that one?
You know what? I feel good. And you know why? What's weird, Matt? Like, I'm out of sorts. Like I said that to you before. I'm really out of sorts because a lot was happening, a lot was going on, including the game. But I promise you, at no point in time did I think the Bulls were losing that game. There's no point that crossed me and said, no, basketball dictates that they will win this game. Nothing I saw said they're going to lose this game. I'm not saying it wasn't, like you said, the butthole didn't tighten up a little bit because it did. But, man, I didn't feel like they were going to lose. And like I said, these kind of games now, Matt, are fun. And they are fun now. Like, it's not like fun bad like it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, we stumble into a loss. Like, we get this close. We have this big lead. And then we stumble and fumble it. Not anymore. Now we pulled this out, even though it was a stumbling, fumbling going on, but we pulled it out in the end because we got professionals now.
See, that's where you and I differ, my friend, because
let's do it.
When the Raptors cut that to 2 off of that awful inbounds pass between Lonzo and Vuce, that mix-up, I was like, we're going to lose this game. I was like, we are losing this game. Toronto crowd was going crazy. I was like, we're going to get caught. The Bulls played decently through their first 3 games, but there was some sloppy stuff that they needed to address and needed to fix. And their offensive execution down the last, 7 or 8 minute stretch of the fourth quarter was awful. And I thought they deserved to lose that game. And I thought they were going to lose that game. And let me tell you, that was a clean look that Fred VanVleet got on that 3 ball because somehow Vooch got switched onto him again. How does that happen? I thought we were going to OT, and if that goes to OT, the Bulls lose. But I will say this. I did think they were going to lose that game. However, DeMar DeRozan. DeMar bleeping DeRozan. 10 of 10 from the free throw line, 26 points on the night. And there was that one key stretch I thought that even despite their bad fourth quarter, put them in position to win that game. And it was right after, it was around the 5-minute mark. Donovan sends Vooch and DeMar and his main guys back in there as the Bulls' second unit was giving up that lead. First possession back in, DeMar, ISO, top of the key, stutter step, pull up, mid-range, splash. Back on the other end, Caruso comes up with a big steal and then in transition, draws the foul, hits 2 free throws, and then on the next Bulls possession, DeMar this time goes baseline, turnaround fadeaway, splash. That little 6-0 run between DeMar DeRozan and Alex Caruso's hustle and defensive effort put the Bulls in position to win this one despite a mostly gross fourth quarter.
It was gross. It was bad and it was terrible. And again, in the past, we lose that game. But like you said, Matt, DeMar DeRozan, how many times did I come on this show and say to the people, he is going to pay dividends in the fourth quarter when you need a bucket. I said it 1,000 times on this show. Dividends is what he's going to pay. Yes, they played bad in the fourth quarter. Yes, even I don't disagree with Matt saying maybe they deserve to lose that game. Even though I don't believe they did, I don't disagree with that assessment because of what you saw out there on the floor. But my goodness, what keeps you in games that you deserve to lose are stars. What keeps you in games that you deserve to lose are bucket getters. Toronto was playing out of their mind, okay? Like Fred VanVleet had a career high in assists, all right, ladies? A career high. They were hitting threes out from everywhere. I can't remember how many people hit 4 threes. I think it was 2, maybe it was more, but I know 2 for sure had 4 3-pointers for Toronto. 2 people on the team had 4 threes, all right? They were scoring buckets, all right, when it was time to do that. And they didn't fold. But I promise you in the past that the Bulls messed that up. Even when Zach LaVine went ahead and made that turnover, Matt, and he got that turnover, and it was like, oh my gosh, you turned that over in the back court like that. Oh, I remember last year that would have been the end of the game. You would have felt the air come out of everybody, and it would have been done. I don't care what the score, it would have been done. But it ain't like that no more because what you got? You got DeMar DeRozan on your team. Here's what excited me also, one thing, Matt, before I throw this back to you, and this has nothing to do with basketball, but this excited me so much. In the post-game press conference, DeMar DeRozan steps up, and what is he wearing? He's got a hoodie on, and it's got the Chicago Bulls on one side, and it's got the OVO, which is Drake's symbol, your boy Drake. He's got Drake's symbol over here on the other side, which means we got Drake making Bulls clothing now, and that excites me, not because I want one, but because we're relevant. That's what excites me about it. It looks smooth, though. I can't front. It looks smooth. It looked dope. Matt, I think you look amazing in it personally.
Well, thank you, but we're never going to see that come to fruition. Also, Drake can't claim ownership of DeMar anymore. He's not in Toronto. He's moved on.
He's moved on. He's going.
I do not care about the friendship between DeMar DeRozan and Drake. But shout out to those of you guys hanging out with us live on YouTube right now. TJ said late game DeMar ISO for the win equals easy money. Gotta love it. Russell said Caruso was great defensively tonight, really bad offensively, had 6 turnovers. So Caruso, credit. I brought up that big steal he had in that little mini 6-0 run that the Bulls had to briefly right the ship late in the fourth quarter. But he is right to bring up the turnovers. 6 turnovers for Caruso on the night, 7 turnovers for the Bulls as a team in the fourth quarter. And let's talk about that for a second, Dave, because interestingly, I noticed there was a lot of not only DeMar ISO, which we are okay with, but Caruso handling the ball late in that game as opposed to Lonzo Ball. Maybe some people wondering, look, Lonzo, we mentioned the bad, sideline inbounds turnover between him and Vuce. Clearly some kind of miscommunication there. I mean, Zach LaVine had an awful turnover himself, bringing the ball up where he was like going to go behind the back and just like threw the ball away. But what do you think specifically about maybe Lonzo not being the primary ball handler as much late in that fourth quarter as the game was slipping away from the Bulls?
I think it bothered me. And what bothered me about it is about the last 2 minutes, Matt, he didn't touch the ball except for the out of bounds play. And I had an issue with that. And I don't know how much I am upset at, well, I shouldn't say upset. Upset is really strong. But I shouldn't say how much I was bothered by him not having the ball or him not getting the ball. What I mean is, I understand the ball wasn't in his hands, but he wasn't making himself available to go get the ball because those guys on Toronto were playing up on him. You know what I mean? Like he had to go fight, you know what I'm saying, to go get it, and he wasn't doing that. But Caruso was fighting to go get the basketball. He was making himself available to go get the ball. See, that's the difference between wanting the ball and going to get it. And Lonzo wasn't doing that. He wasn't going to get it. As soon as it would go in the guy's hands, you saw him just, try to spread the floor, and do other things like that. I didn't need him to do that. I needed the ball in his hands, and I needed him to right the ship and set everything up and take that out of the hands of guys like Caruso who had a high turnovers and everything like that. You got to get it in the hands of your point guard or DeMar DeRozan during that time. Those are the only 2 people I wanted touching the basketball. Yeah, and it bothered me a little bit that he wasn't fighting to go get the basketball. And I hope that's not a trend that continues.
Yeah, and as Russ said in comments, Vooch should never touch the ball down the stretch ever again. Well, there was that one where Vooch saw space in front of him and just started dribbling, and that basketball was 8 feet off the ground in between, and then he stutter stepped, maybe could have gotten called for a travel, ends up throwing the ball away. Like, the Bulls have got to figure out their late game offensive execution. I'm not panicking. This is game 4 of 82. My hope is that they will get better as a team, figuring out where the ball needs to be late in close games. But one place where it can be, where you and I are both in agreement that we were happy it was for a couple of big possessions late, is in the hands of DeMar DeRozan, a piece that this team has not had in quite some time. An ISO guy like that, who honestly, in some ISO ways, is more reliable than Zach LaVine and all of the wonderful things that Zach LaVine does. Lots more to get to in this game, including some of the other pieces we haven't gotten to yet and Donovan's rotation. We'll do that in just a minute. But first, Big Dave.
Yes, sir.
Tell our listeners and our viewers about a great opportunity to get their TV together with DirecTV Stream.
Look, you were sitting around and you were watching this game, all right? But you were flipping back and forth because you wanted to look at NBA TV, maybe watch some Nets and Wizards action because you wanted to see what Daniel Gafford is doing. And then you said to yourself, oh, snap, but Monday Night Raw is on. I love to watch wrestling. Oh, snap, the Neighborhood is on CBS. Let me turn that on and watch that. NBC programming. Oh, snap, there's Dune is on. Oh, man, I want to tune into that. And then you pull out your bag of remotes, and then you're fumbling and you're stumbling, and then you miss the game, and you don't know what happened in the Bulls game, and then you miss the shout out Adam Amin gave to Big Dave. And you missed it all because you were fumbling and stumbling, and you didn't have everything correct. But here, let me make your life simple for you. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings you all the live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch all your favorite sports, movies, and shows in one place. No more juggling those remotes. No need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there is no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter, get rid of that confusion, and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directv.com. That is directv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package.
Moving on, and I saw you had a tweet about this, Dave, and I want to get your thoughts when it comes to other pieces of this game tonight. People talking about it in our comments. Shout out again to everybody watching and hanging out with us on YouTube Live right now. Joe Hughes said, need some more aggression from P-Dub. Mark Shannon said, bro, why does P-Dub pass up that wide open three? He's still playing timid. That corner three that Patrick Williams had, and I saw you had a tweet about it, and I was watching it too. I was like, dude, you got to shoot that. Patrick, you got to shoot that. I spent half of the game tonight arguing with Joe Cowley on Twitter about Patrick Williams. Yes. And we both saw that open three and said, you got to shoot that. And you even pointed out, you know, that ended up being a transition bucket for the Raptors in the other direction. That's a big 5-point swing there. But we did see some moments tonight from Patrick Williams where he looked to be more aggressive. There were back-to-back possessions where he took an open look that he had after a couple of dribbles, also had a nice assist in sort of like a half-court, like mini transition opportunity where he was looking to attack and then had a nice pass to a teammate for a bucket. Some good, some bad, some timid, some aggression from P-Dub tonight. What did you take away from his game?
I like how you put that, because you kind of got a little bit of everything, and I don't mean that in a great way, and I don't mean that in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? Like it's in the middle. You know what I'm saying? It's a popcorn mix. You remember? I don't know, man, if you know about getting the Big Ten of popcorn when it would have all three of those different flavors. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, let's say like some people just want to eat the cheese. Some people just want to eat the caramel. Some people just want to eat the plain. But one of them somebody hates. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what his game was tonight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got a lot of everything, and you left some of the bad stuff, and then you ate all the good stuff. But anyway, that three-pointer really, truly was the first time I was bothered about anything he's done this season, honestly, because that has nothing to do with the ankle. That has nothing to do with your shoulder. You know what I mean? That has to do with your mental. And that was wide open. And it was the shot you were supposed to take, because you got to keep the floor balanced. That is why it's important. I didn't care if he missed a shot. I didn't care if he airballed it, but you got to take it because it keeps the floor balanced. And like you said, man, you saw what happened. They swung it around, missed it, a quick run out, by Toronto to lead to an easy 2. And then you had, take a timeout. So a huge 5 points. So that was a big 5-point swing that he could have prevented just by taking the actual shot. So that's what bothered me. I like how he came back in the third quarter, at the beginning of the third quarter, Matt, because he became involved on both ends of the floor. He caused a turnover. He started the 3-on-1 break that led to the and one for Zach. That looked like the Bulls were about to run them out the gym. And then Toronto said, no, later on. But it put them up by 20. He also, got himself a nice bucket. You saw him get the ball and start driving inside. And when he drove inside, he kicked it out in the corner to Lonzo for the 3-point shot. I saw him starting to be aggressive in that third quarter. But in that fourth quarter, he fell back into it because, I forget my man's name, but I think Scotty Barnes, excuse me. Yeah, he was giving him the absolute business, all right? Mm-hmm. He was working him clean out. But more so than that, none of that bothered me because you're not going to be great every night. Some guys just going to get buckets. What bothered me more than that, Matt, he had no rebounds in about 25 minutes of play. That bothered me more than anything.
That's where I was about to go next. You and I always in the same headspace.
The brain, baby.
Tico Giro on YouTube said, do keep in mind P. Will is still coming back from injury. I dislike that he left that 3, but that is all. So, yes, missed all of training camp after not having a training camp as a rookie because COVID, and got maybe 20 minutes of preseason action in one preseason game. And is trying to, Billy Donovan during training camp while he was on the shelf was talking about Patrick Williams' conditioning being an issue potentially to start the season, especially after the ankle injury. 26 minutes tonight, clearly not playing the minutes that the rest of the starters are playing. DeRozan 36, Vooch 34, Lonzo 38, Zach LaVine 35, P-Dub 26. But as you just brought up, 0 rebounds. If there's one thing that Patrick Williams should and could be able to be giving this Bulls team right now, get some rebounds, man. Especially from the guy who is starting in your power forward position. We've talked about the Bulls making up for the fact that they're undersized with their aggression on defense, with their, just committing to creating steals, creating takeaways. And they did that again tonight. I think 11 more steals tonight and coming up with some kind of collective way to overcome their lack of size based on the other things they're doing well defensively. Tonight, I think in a way that they hadn't been exposed in their previous 3 games, the Raptors exposed their lack of size. 48-28 rebounding discrepancy in favor of Toronto tonight. 28 rebounds in an entire NBA game?
Yeah.
You cannot have your starting power forward giving you 0 when you're getting out-rebounded by 20. The Raptors had 14 offensive rebounds tonight and some second-chance points off those offensive rebounds that let them creep back into this game.
Absolutely right, Matt. Fred VanVleet should not have more rebounds than you. Fred VanVleet had 6 rebounds. He's 6 feet tall. He had 6 rebounds. Because rebounds are what, Matt? They're effort. You know what I'm saying? You got to go in there and they're just plain old simple effort. He's one of the biggest dudes out there. Now, again, they Bulls look like a team that also played, 3 games out of the last 4 days. They did look like that in that fourth quarter, like they were drained. And I'm sure they're very happy to have these next few days to rest, before the game Thursday, before actually what a lot of people say, the season kind of kicks off for them because the schedule gets real starting Thursday. But they definitely, right. They definitely look like a team that have been playing a lot of basketball in the last 4 days. But still, with all that said, Patrick Williams has got to get a rebound. And again, I understand the shoulder injury. Trust me, I get it. And I understand the ankle injury. I get that too. And that probably hurts his confidence because he's never been injured before. So how can he know how to deal with that? I talked about that today on the show. But no rebounds, guys. None. You can't have that. You can't have 0. You know what I'm saying? Only 0s, I could be okay with if he goes 0 for 3 from the 3-point line or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, all right. Well, at least he shot the ball. I'm okay with that. He took a shot.
Chris Dunn 3-point attempts. 0, totally acceptable number.
Yes. Oh, yes. Is he in the league? I don't think he's in the league. But even though, Jabari Parker hit, a lot of 3s tonight. But let me not focus on that. Let me focus on Patrick Williams, man. bottom line is, dude, you're a huge human being. You know what I'm saying? You're a tall person, and you being the fourth option, you have got to find a way to make your impact on the floor. That means the ball and plays are not going to be drawn up for you. Certain things aren't going to be given to you. But when this comes your way, and the way that you make that impact and the way that you respond is by rebounding, is by playing that defense and doing things like that. He did it defensively, man. He was okay. Like I said, he was getting cooked in that fourth by Barnes, but up until that, he was okay. He was cool, all right? But man, no rebounds, that's effort. That's an effort thing. So I don't want to call into question his desire, because that's definitely not what I feel. But I do think those injuries are bothering him in a way that I don't think we know enough about, because we've never seen this from just like that. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like just not making any kind of impact as far as a rookie. He was always active. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as a rookie and things like that. So hopefully these days off will help him. Hopefully, he watches this tape with Billy Donovan, and I'm sure Billy Donovan is going to hold him accountable on a lot of these things and point these things out to him. So, yeah, let's see how he comes back from it.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see how this team responds from a game like this, and you can see, like, they were showing a shot of the court right as Van Vliet misses the three. DeRozan and Zach and one other team, I can't remember, I think Lonzo, were all kinds of together. And Zach was looking at his teammates like, guys, let's not celebrate this. Like, we just played poorly in the fourth quarter. Yeah. And when he did his sideline interview with Adam and Stacey after that game, he said, that was bad. We'll take a win, but that was bad. And DeMar DeRozan echoed those sentiments after the game when he was asked about being 4-0, and he said that means nothing. Like, we got to get better. We got to learn. We got to correct some mistakes, because they just escaped with a win. Yes. As Bulls fans, you can be happy that they did, because I think a lot of games that went down like this, a lot of fourth quarters that went down like this last season, the Bulls came out on the losing end. And again, maybe that's what we're talking about if Van Vliet hits the three and we go to OT. But the fact that nobody on that Bulls team was celebrating this one, I think, is a good frame of mind to continue, because as you said, Big Dave, the schedule now, starting with the Knicks on Thursday, just brutal. You got the Knicks, you got the Jazz to close out October. Then November goes like this: Celtics, Sixers again, Brooklyn Nets, Dallas Mavericks, Warriors, Clippers, Lakers, Blazers, Nuggets. And then you come back to the Eastern Conference for Knicks, Pacers. That is the first 3 weeks of November right there.
Wow.
Holy crap. The Bulls will not escape all of those opponents playing like they played in the fourth quarter. A few more things that I want to get your thoughts on, Dave, including the minutes from one Troy Brown Jr. tonight. Thought that was interesting. Before we do that, want to tell all of you guys that if you aren't using Bet Online to bet on the Bulls, bet on other NBA games, on all of your sports action, you are seriously missing out, because Bet Online is back and better than ever. A new web interface for the start of the NBA season, and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Bet Online remains your number one spot for all the basketball and football action this season. So head to their new updated desktop or their mobile website and sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use promo code Locked On at sign up, and you will get a 50% welcome bonus on that first deposit. For basketball, football, baseball, postseason, NHL, boxing, UFC, right down to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your sports action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Oh, guys, after that, I know what you want to do. You want to go buy some car parts. It's what I would do. I'm like, man, the game was crazy. That was wild. I want to buy car parts. But guess what? Everybody's closed. I can't go outside. I can't, go to the store and get them. Oh, what do I do? Well, guess what you do? You go to rockauto.com. Because let me tell you something, they never close. Because when you're online, it's all the time, baby, 24/7. Why even go to the dealership and spend 30, 50, even 100% more for the same parts? It makes no sense. Stay at home and do it. It's a family-owned business. That's what Rock Auto is. It's serving the do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. That's what Rock Auto do. Its prices reliably low for every single customer. That's what Rock Auto promises you. They got all the parts you're going to need, guys. Brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, even some new carpet. Whatever you need, they got you covered. So what I want you to do is go to that easy-to-use website today. Find a solution to all your auto parts needs, all right? And see all the parts that'll be available for the car and truck that you own. And when you get there, make sure you go to their How Did You Hear About Us section and write Locked On in that section to let them know that Matt and Big Dave sent you there. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Sing it with me, everybody in the chat. RockAuto.com. Oh, I held that one for you.
All right. I did want to go back and touch on Vooch, but before we go to Vooch quickly, Big Dave, because there were a bunch of people in the comments talking about the game Vooch had tonight. Troy Brown Jr. was basically benched by Billy Donovan at halftime of the Bulls' last game, and his second half minutes went to the rookie who has been impressive and fun to watch, Ayo Dosunmu. And Troy Brown Jr. tonight gets back into that rotation. Donovan goes back to him after benching him, essentially. And he plays 17 minutes, 11 points on 5 of 9, and no minutes for Ayo tonight. As I was watching, and I think it was a bucket when it was, I think it was third quarter, the Raptors were still hanging around and the Bulls had a couple of bad possessions. They hadn't had a bucket in a while. And he just drove baseline and made a really tough bucket amongst the trees. And that was I think it was maybe his third or fourth bucket of the night. And I had this thought that I was like, that's the first time through 4 games where I felt that the Troy Brown Jr. has put his impact, put his stamp on a game. And when you think about how he arrived last season, one of the many, flips at the trade deadline, shows some nice things for a few games, goes down with a bad ankle injury, and then we all just kind of forget about him. He's sort of an afterthought for all of this offseason with all of these other even more interesting and exciting new pieces through the offseason that AK and Eversley add. And everybody's just always kind of been wondering, how does Troy Brown Jr. fit into this? I was underwhelmed through the first 3 games. I was glad to see him have a bounce back, responding perhaps to Donovan killing his second half minutes in their last game. I think he had a decent game tonight.
That's the word, decent. The game was very decent. I wanted to see better from him as far as the 3-point line was concerned. I believe he was 1 of 4. I wanted him to hit a couple of those threes because they would have been big. But overall, though, I mean, I can't complain about how he played. He had 11 points out there, about 16 minutes. That's good. I mean, he was okay on the defensive end. He wasn't terrible out there. He was solid. And the coach trusted him because he was in for the majority of that second half. He played a lot of those minutes, man, especially in that fourth quarter. He had Troy Brown Jr. in there. I think he went for him for his length, you know what I mean? Because Troy Brown Jr.'s length can be an issue, and his problem and his size can be an issue for other teams. So I think that's why he kind of went with him. But yeah, he kind of played himself back into those, I guess, good graces. And maybe Billy also, like I say all the time, he's not beholden to any one lineup. So he just kind of wanted to see, what Troy Brown Jr. would look about this. Because as this goes on, Matt, what we're discovering is you're going to need everybody on this team. And everybody's going to have to play a role. Every single one through 15, they're going to have to play a role on this team. And everybody's going to get their shot. So credit to him for getting his shot and then playing solid in his shot. So shout out to Troy Brown Jr. for that.
Hopefully the first game of a string of games where Troy can show something, because again, that second unit, especially when it comes to scoring, has me a little bit concerned right now. Especially, and we saw more of it again tonight, and I wasn't loving it when Donovan staggers DeMar with that second unit, and there's just really not a lot of shooting options out there. You brought up Troy being 1 of 4 from downtown tonight. You got to find some offense somewhere in that second unit. And, of course, a lot of Bulls fans talked about that on Twitter tonight. Kobe White. Please, please hurry back, because there is the scoring punch that this Bulls second unit is desperately missing right now. Okay, to wrap up, going back to Vooch for a second, we've got some back and forth in the comments on YouTube right now. AP Bulls fan saying Vooch has me scared. I think I saw somebody earlier on tonight in the live comments saying that, like, can we start talking about trading Vooch yet? Like, okay. And then Piteous X has a nice comment in response saying there's a ton on Vooch's plate right now. He's our only big who will defend and rebound. I'm sure that's had some negative impact on his offensive game. Look, first of all, let's mention this. Vooch was questionable to play tonight with a non-COVID related illness. Yeah. Maybe it was a hangover. It was just his birthday. Happy birthday,
how's your father?
I mean, 17 on 8 of 15. Like, that's not as efficient of a night you would hope to have from Vooch, but it's still a guy who's giving you over 50% on his shots from the field, 8 boards, again chipping in with 3 steals. We've been talking about Vooch's defense, but Piteous X is right to bring up the fact that the Bulls are asking Vooch to do a lot in this style of defense that they're playing. He's all over the place, and maybe tonight, if he wasn't feeling hot, if he was questionable to begin with, and he's chasing people around, running ragged on the defensive end, he got switched out on guards a bunch of times tonight, had to deal with that. I don't know about you, Dave. I am not worried that Vooch had a quiet night with 17-8 while also giving you that effort on the defensive end. Did his turnovers and his decision-making late in that game bug me a little bit? Yeah. But am I starting to call up teams asking if they want Vooch in a trade because of that? No. Y'all calm down.
Calm down. Guys, 4-0. Okay, I know you probably don't honor the teams they played, but guess what? Those teams play in the NBA. All right, and those wins count. The Bulls are 4-0. They ain't been 4-0 since some of y'all been alive. All right, so like, I'm gonna need y'all to chill. You know what I'm saying? A little bit on that. 4-0 is a good thing. All right, no matter how you get it, 4-0 is a good thing. All right, but dealing with Vooch there, Matt. Yeah, 17-8. I felt like this is the game, Matt, where I feel like they kind of went to him more than any time I could really remember in the past few games, as far as just like wanting him to be the one to establish everything. As far as like in every quarter, like, all right, Vooch, you running to you. We run the pick and pop with you. Okay, Vooch, you on the post, you getting the basketball. Okay, you have at a 3-point line, it's your shot. You know, like, it was all, rolling around him. Hey, you want that mid-range on this? Got you all day. So it was all kind of rolling around him on that. And I'm not complaining about it at all. I think it's good that he gets that ball and his team has that trust. I think a good example of that, Matt, is when they came off and a play and Zach LaVine got the ball and Zach was open and he still passed that ball inside to Vooch. And, so Vooch could go get the bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a trust that you have when you can just dump it down to a big man and you have complete confidence that he's going to go score for you. Yeah, Matt's right. Like, it wasn't fluid as of scoring, but 17-8, I take it. The issues we had, or I should say me personally, was the fourth quarter. When he was, calling for that ball when Lonzo threw it and, over his head, or when he got it and then he starts dribbling, saying, and he's running that joint up the court and I'm screaming at the screen, stop dribbling, just hold it. Like, just hold it. It's okay. Like, And then he almost, got the turnover, which Nick Nurse, tried to challenge that call. And I was like, nah, it went out of bounds, which again was a smart challenge by Nick Nurse because it bought them another timeout at the same time, which is a very smart challenge. But yeah, like, overall though, Matt, no, I'm not concerned about an all-star center right now who is still scoring and rebounding for you. And you're 4-0. So no, I'm not concerned about that, but we know what he brings defensively. We know his, deficiencies there, guys. But all I want him to do is continue what he's been doing and maybe hit a couple of threes in the process. So I'm not overly concerned about Vooch.
Right. Again, I'm with you too. Look, you're going to have some nights where you miss some bunnies. I think somebody in the comments said they were worried because, Vooch is missing his chip shots. It's like, what do you think that's going to just continue forever because he somehow forgot how to hit 4-foot little mini hooks and stuff? No, that's just a string of bad luck where Vooch has his looks. and a bunch of them have rimmed out. That's not like a problem for him now. Somebody in the comments said, like, we're nitpicking and we're angry about the fact the Bulls just got a road win. Like, expectations have changed. That is a good thing. We're nitpicking a road win and a 4-0 start. That's a wonderfully different place to be. Somebody else in the comments said, like, let's just talk about the fact that the Bulls are 4-0 and first in the East. That's
4-0.
Yeah, Thomas Moffitt, shout out to you. Bulls being first in the East. Look, again, these first 4 games on the schedule, all winnable games against meh opponents. And again, tonight, benefit of a shorthanded opponent. No Pascal Siakam for the Raptors. That certainly makes things easier for the Bulls, who got out-rebounded by 20 even without Siakam out there.
Even without him.
Word. Knowing how tough the schedule is about to get, good for the Bulls for getting this 4-0 start under their belts. Get the wins where you can and learn from your mistakes while you're stacking W's. That's the way to start the season. And Big Dave, final thought. The Bulls now have a few days off to get themselves together and regroup after that ugly fourth quarter. The next team on deck, welcoming in Tibbs, Derek, Taj, and the New York Knickerbockers on Joakim Noah night.
Oh, guess who'll be in the place, Matt? Guess who'll be there? Guess who'll be there? Guess who'll be there, man? Guess who'll be there, man? That guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. That's who's gonna be there. These guys gonna be there. Oh, I'm excited to see it. It's gonna be fun, and that's the first test. That is the first of many tests that the Bulls are about to have. You heard the murderer's row that Matt ran down for the Chicago Bulls, who they got coming up, guys. So yeah, this is gonna be the first test, and I mean it's gonna be a test because the Knicks, they rebound. The Knicks, they're big. The Knicks, they're tough. They can defend. You know what I'm saying? So, and you're going to need rest. Rest on up, get in the gym. You know what I mean? Patrick Williams will be needed, guys. You know what I'm saying? He will definitely be needed as far as defensively going at Julius Randle and guys like that. So, but we got Zach LaVine, but we got DeMar DeRozan, but we got Lonzo Ball, but we got Vooch, but we got the Nat and Caruso. We got Demolition Man, Javonte Green. It ain't like we coming in without ammunition. And that's what's exciting about it. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a good matchup, Matt. I'm excited to watch it with you live, man. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a fun time. I cannot wait for Thursday night Bulls Knicks at the UC. It's going to be rocking. I can't wait to be a part of that atmosphere at the United Center. Thanks to everybody who tuned in with us live on this live episode of Locked On YouTube. If you just found your way here and aren't subscribed to the channel yet, do yourself a favor and do us a favor and subscribe to us here on that Locked On Bulls YouTube channel. And why not hit that like button as well? Tell your friends about this. And of course, always, you can find us on wherever you get your podcasts on all those podcast streaming platforms. Hit us up if you want to be a part of the conversation on that text to voicemail line. 331-979-1369 is that number. You can also email us, lockedonbulls@gmail.com. And always hit us up on the Twitter machine. I am at Bulls_Peck. As Adam Amin told y'all tonight, Big Dave is at BAL, BAWL Sports. Zach LaVine's first 4-game pro winning streak. We are at Locked On Bulls on Twitter. For my partner, Big Dave, I'm Matt saying thanks for hanging out with us, Bulls fans. We appreciate y'all, and we'll see you tomorrow for another fresh episode of Locked On Bulls. See Red, be good. Peace out. 4 and 0.